Hello, everybody. Happy Pisces new moon. I'm wearing a Piscean outfit, all swirly and oceanic, right? And my little Pisces moon likes that. And I'm wearing my ring, which is my ring I wear on this finger, that I earned hard, fair and square. And this ring is my I know ring, right? And it's that position of, and that's what we're going to talk about. And so that's even more why I'm wearing it, because it's empowering to me whenever I see it. And this could be anything. I could make a heart on my finger with a Sharpie too, right? But it reminds me of that I can know versus I think, my opinion, blah, blah, blah. So these two things going on right now. And I wanted to have a teaching tonight about that, thinking versus knowing. And how do you do that? And we're going to do a practice with that. And if we have time, we'll do like we did last time, a questions. If you have questions or you want to share something from your meditation when we finish, I'll leave it open. And that's optional. You can stay or go if you want to. So I'll sort of close the door, though, once we go into that part of it, because that won't be part of the recording. We're going to cut it off there. So I'll finish the class experience that I'm sharing tonight, but then afterward we'll have a little bit of time if you have any thoughts or you want to share something or ask a question. So I'm liking that format. And so here we go on this new moon. So I'm going to start by opening up this chart. Okay, so what I'm showing in this chart is this beautiful symmetry of this sextiles. All these green lines are sextiles, and conjunctions, which are those long lines that are pointing out of the wheel. And it is a very harmonious chart, actually, given the times we're in. And I wanted to talk about two of the points, which are the sun and moon, which is circled at 13 degrees Pisces. It says 12, but it rounds up to 13, and reads you the Sabian symbol for that, which is a sword in a museum. And typically, that sword in a museum they call it the sword in the stone degree. 13 Pisces. So maybe you have that in your chart somewhere. And what that means is the right person at the right time does the right thing that changes everything. And it's an unexpected person, right? It's Excalibur, right? It's that King Arthur. It's that magical kind of quality where someone unexpected wears the crown, right? Sword. And so I'm putting that in here in this conversation to lay that down as a layer. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, and you can see there's so many conjunctions: Pluto, Mars, and Mercury in Capricorn, and Venus in Capricorn, and then Mercury and Saturn, which is the next thing I want to talk about, at 20 of Aquarius. And the degree for that is a big white dove carries a message. And so, and what degrees are we talking about here? But Mercury, we're talking about 20 degrees, which is an important degree in the decadence, that is about getting information. And it's with Mercury, and it's with Saturn. So I'm starting with some astrology because it's so compelling, this astrology this time. It's with Mercury and Saturn, the big white dove, and they're exactly the same degree. So it's double strong. It has gravity. Mercury is light. It's quicksilver, right? It's fast, telephones and internet and things that go fast, right? And Saturn is slow. And so here are these two things that are like concrete and laser light, right? Together at that degree of a big dove. carries the message. And so we're going to use that in the meditation, of course, tonight, because that's very, very potent. And you can kind of feel the power of those 2 degrees. And then, of course, we've got, I'll just tell you, that other triplet conjunction is at 28 Capricorn, and it's Pluto, Mars, and Venus. If you can see that, it's 27, 27, 27. These are exact. They're not a few degrees away. They're on. And all of these conjunctions are like that. So it's 28 Capricorn. It goes to the Sabian symbol, which is a large aviary. That's the naming of it. And that large aviary, sometimes we think of that as humanity, the cacophony, the noise, the news, the media, and everybody's talking. And it's with these big, heavy-duty planets, though, And isn't that what's happening? And there's so much happening, right? The other thing is Jupiter is conjunct the new moon. It's not exact, it's not on the exact same degree, but if you see that little triplet there on the sort of 11 o'clock position, you'll see that Jupiter's there at 14 degrees. So that's quite the blessing. And so a lot of people are talking about this particular new moon as a wishing moon. If you could wish for something, what would it be? Because this is a time and a possibility of miracle. Like something could really happen that changes things. And it's the sword and the stone. The right person at the right time does the right thing, right? And it reminds me of what's happening in Russia and the Ukraine. This horrible war that is happening that feels hopeless a little bit, But the right person at the right place at the right time, right? I think there's a lot of that going on, actually. The president of Ukraine is amazing. He's a comedian. That's and he's the president. He's down there with them, fighting for his country. Anyway, so interesting, right? So Jupiter there makes it more conducive to things happening like that than they've ever been. It's just such a powerful time. So I want to lay that into this conversation. And what I wanted to talk about tonight was about holding, right? So there's 5 kinds of meditation, right? And so the first type of meditation that a person encounters is relaxation meditation, right? And that's what people do in the beginning when they haven't meditated before, and they go to a yoga class and they say, relax your legs, relax your arms, relax your eyes, right? It says all these kinds of instructions to let go of your physical body, let the concerns of your day go away. But it's all very much bodily, physical relaxation because we are so stressed out, right? And the next type of meditation is called visualization meditation. And that's when you're in a meditation and, you're imagining yourself at the beautiful brook and the water is babbling down and you can see a goldfish down there and right? And it's this and you're putting yourself into a state by visualization, by scent, by smell. You're using more of the senses, not just the physical, like in the first one, which is relaxation, which is take a breath, exhale, let go. The next level of meditation is visualization, where you start imagining scenarios. You imagine yourself feeling better. You imagine yourself becoming well. You imagine yourself somewhere beautiful. You imagine your heart opening, right? So you're starting to now work it, right? From this place of relaxation, which first precedes that, because you sort of need to relax first, then visualize, right? And then the next stage, and this is stages of meditation that are increasing difficulty as well, right? So the third stage is concentration. And this gets very elaborate, and you can spend decades in this section because it's so complex. That would be the idea of meditating on a candle. that would be more basic. Meditate on a candle, keep your eyes, or looking at a wall, like in Zen meditation, where you're just looking, your eyes are open, you're looking out, and you're not looking around, though you're staying really fixed in your perspective, and you're just looking and observing and staying quiet, though, with that. So you're looking out at a candle, you're looking out at the wall, you're looking out and you're making your eyes soft. Then there's another layer of that inside of, so it's got an A-B part, right? More difficulty. Where you begin to imagine in your head center sacred geometries, light, teachers, right? It can be all kinds of things that work in that area. And this becomes another level of strength of being able to, without using your eyes at all, using your inner eye to start to create with these beautiful sacred geometries. And sacred geometries would be almost ABC level, right? Because B would be teachers and things, where you're having a conversation maybe with a teacher, or working very directly but internally. And then eventually it just turns into very abstract sacred geometries. And those go to levels as well. Anyway, it goes on and on like that. Then finally, the fourth style or kind of meditation is meditation proper as you may think, which is where you're just silent and there's not any dialogue and there's just the standing in the stillness, right? And allowing for these insights and realizations to happen within that. And then finally, which is the one we're going to work on tonight, so we're going to the advanced one. But it's funny and it's really good to think of that. Like, so we're going to the most advanced version of meditation, because all the first four are about me, right? So it's I'm relaxing, I'm visualizing, I'm in concentration, I'm in meditation. And then the fifth kind of meditation is service, right? So I thought, with the events of the world and the events in our lives, and so many people I know are going through so much right now, like the throes of change, right? Shaking in the change, really in that deep, organic, from the inside out change, not little tiny changes, the kind where you're different afterward. And we're all kind of in it. And in that, there's some manifestation happening, right? There's drama. There's things actually happening. People are sick, or people are going through some very challenging kind of experience in their lives, in some part of their life. It can be in their relationship, it can be in themselves, right? Just distress in the self, dis-ease, where we're not at peace in ourself at all. And it can be completely, in a way, in the mental frame of mental health, right? Depression, anxiety. I know so many people that are in depression and anxiety right now. It's really tough. And when there's a war out there going on, or if there's anything going on out there, you know how I call it the weather, sensitive people feel that and think that it's their own energy. And so there's this confusion as it smashes into our energy because we're experiencing it. It's filtering through us, which is what it's supposed to do, right? And if it's filtering through us, but it's supposed to filter through us and back out again. But it gets captured sometimes inside our own psychology and inside our own self, because we are having problems too. We're struggling with something. And so that amplification of war energy, for instance, or COVID energy, amplifies our own concerns and our own energies. And so it's easy to, what my favorite book these days is The Four Agreements, number 2, don't take things personally. But we do. We take it all personally. And so it amplifies our concern. And we think our concern has become bigger somehow, when really it is simply an amplified feeling that is in the normal range-ish, but amplified by the outside energy, because everybody, the world, is in deep stress. And war energy, there isn't a bigger one than that. Can you imagine all the millions of people that are praying to live, to not die, to see their son again or their husband again or their, it is really something. And even if you think of the Russian soldiers that are divided in their own hearts, attacking their own people in a way, it's just got to be something. It's just hard to even imagine all the layers of distress that is out there. And so, holding very complicated, very advanced world service meditations. When we do that, when we do a world service meditation, we are holding not just for a friend or a situation, at work, we're holding for the world. So you have to have a disciplined instrument to do that, so that you don't get fired off, so that you don't get triggered, so that you don't take it on, so that you don't take it personally, and you don't make this energy about yourself, even though you're also going through something, right? You become that Saturn and Mercury together in the sky, right? The quicksilver and the gravity, the ground of it. You both together. They live together, not separated. They live together. And so the power of being able to do that is a muscle that you build. So when we hold for each other, we are giving the greatest gift, if we can do it. Because mostly what happens is we get upset for each other. We worry for each other. We're afraid for them. We relate to it and think, well, what if that was me? And that's not holding. That's just worrying and fearing, right? So holding is neutral position. It's like the whole thing's a meditation. So if I'm working with a situation or a person or a subject or a country or a world, I'm not attaching as much as I am able to the personal part of it, even though I'm personally connected to the world and to that person maybe. But they're that person, they're that world, and I'm connecting to it from the peace within me, not the fear within me. So this is hard to do, because if somebody tells you, I have this disease, it's very easy to add to their fear by saying, oh, I know 3 people with that and 2 of them didn't make it, but 1 did, or something, right? We relate to it by what we've experienced ourselves or heard of even, or we haven't even experienced it, we just read it on Facebook, and it becomes like we're saying that as if we know, but it's really just a parroting part of that, the large aviary, right? The noise of humanity. I love the word cacophony, caca. It's got that word in there. It's just noise, the noise of the world of just blather and blabber, right? And how do you come to the knowing of what you know, rather than the fear of what you think or what you've read or what you've heard, and still be in that centered place? Well, this is a very, very difficult kind of alignment, and it needs to be, or hopes to be, precise. Because the more kind of messy we are, the more messy is our manifestation, and unhelpful to that other person or to that country. It is unhelpful. So we can really be of service to someone or to everyone by staying in a alignment in ourself, so that we're not reacting to the situation that this one is going through or this many are going through. So how do you do that, right? And this holding idea, right, to how do you hold really is a practice that you do every time you meditate, because in a way, like likening it to just pure meditation, think of it, how I say, it's like watching a parade going by. You're not the parade, though. You're watching the parade. So no matter what it is, 16 clowns and and rolling monkeys and palomino horses with people waving. You're just going that thought, that thought, that thought, that thought. You don't get in the parade. You're just observing the parade. So you're not reacting. And so that same muscle that we build in meditation proper, the fourth kind of meditation, which is this very big discipline, right? To become still and not react to your own thoughts, is the same. See, as they go up in difficulty. We're using that same discipline, but now we're doing it for someone else or for a situation. I think I'll show a diagram 1. So that's the brain, right? The little clumpity clump inside the head. And this is a person thinking about a problem. So he's thinking about the problem, and the outside, the little ... goes to the cloud. That is the manifestation, whatever it is. Money, girlfriend, a house, peace, world peace, whatever it is, whatever we're trying to work on, right? And so his thinking about it. And so this is a limited position, because even though the third eye is right there, it is not actually part of the brain. It's within it, but it is not the brain. So, better way to think of this, and I think I'll go to the next one now. So, is top down, right? So now the same one, he's using the third eye in the heart of the brain, and the heart of the head, we call it, and he's manifesting out just like he was manifesting out up there. But now there's a download coming. There's a greater knowing. It's a knowing that's past the brain, not just our thinking, not all the collected ideas that we've accrued over a lifetime, or all the books that we've read, or all the things we've heard. This is now pure, inspired knowing, and then it goes through the brain, and then it goes out and it creates a manifestation, and the manifestation's very, very different. Okay? So remember last month we worked on running joy, and that was powerful. And that was that. We were running joy down through our whole self. If you then decided to create something from there, you would create something very beautiful. If you're running pure joy, what you're going to manifest is going to look like that. If you're running pure fear, what you're manifesting is going to look like that, right? It's reciprocal. So we're clearing the energy, clearing the fields of our own consciousness and our fear reactions, and learning how to become a vessel to hold for someone else or a world situation. So we're going to do a little practice. So this is going to be short, just maybe, a minute or two. And it's going to be like a mini meditation. And I want you to try, and I should have done this the other way around, but this will work. I want you to think of something you're very concerned about. Doesn't matter what it is, about yourself, somebody else, something that is really got you going, and you're thinking about it a lot, and you don't know what to do, and it's got a lot of personal in it. It's your problem, it's your situation, it's something that you're working on or trying to accomplish or trying to help with or something, right? And then from there, close your eyes, and I want you to think about it. Just think about it, the parts of it. Think about every bit of it. Are there people involved? How are they involved? How does that concern you too? I want you to think about problem solving in terms of this, and I want you to really concentrate now on solving that problem or trying to think about solving that problem, and I want you to feel yourself as you do so. Keep thinking about it. See what maybe things come up, like things you could, maybe I'll call that person and they can help, or right? Just all those ideas, right, that come from that thinking place, and you're just staying in the brain, thinking about the problem, right? And then release, and then just open your eyes again and just And just kind of take notice. How did you feel while you were doing that? Right? Just notice how you felt. Now, you are all, a lot of you, very trained meditators, so it's almost hard to do that, isn't it? Just to stay in your head and think about things, because we know. But it's good to practice, because it's very important to not just theoretically understand things, but to experientially understand things. Then they become yours. Then they become part of what you know versus think, right? So now close your eyes again. Same problem, same situation, same subject, okay? Close your eyes. Start in the pain. Start in the confusion. Start in the quandary. And feel the crown chakra open. Consciously allow energy to move from the soul to the self through the crown. Be still. Don't think. Don't think. Allow space and time. Allow spaciousness and time. And just let yourself know something about this. One thing. One thing. Let one thing drop in from that bigger awareness. And then drop that, release it. Keep your eyes closed just for a moment. I want you to compare physiology. I want you to compare chemistry. I want you to compare from the first experiment to the second one, how you felt in your body, and how when the insight occurred or dropped, how you felt, and how you knew it was an insight, which we've been working on a lot lately. What is your intuition versus what is your thinking? And just try to memorize the feeling of insight versus thinking logically through. It's not that you don't think logically, but you use your insight. So now you can come out of that and just feel that. I just want you to feel that. It's so important. Because if you start to realize the difference, you'll know in your own meditation when you're stuck in your head, right? Or in a conversation when you're stuck in your head. Or in solving a problem when you're stuck in your head. And it's a fixed, closed system. The ego is a fixed and closed system, right? And so it wants to be God. It wants to figure it out. I know, it says all the time about everything, right? And it doesn't know. It just knows what it can know based of this little box of what it understands, of what our minds have seen or known and heard. But when you're in meditation, you can get ideas that have never been thought before by anybody ever, and new ways of solving problems and new solutions to things. Very different. And so one, for me, feels pretty tight, and one feels really open. And it's pretty radical, the difference. It's when I'm talking to someone, when I'm here talking to you, I can feel when my mind is closing down and tight, and I'm thinking in my words, and I can feel when I'm speaking from that place in me that knows, right? I can feel it. And when I start to get into that narrower bandwidth of understanding, I like to not talk anymore, because that's in every book you've ever read and everybody, New Age stuff. This is the real thing. How do you really, really know? So, what I got, I'm just going to share, I asked you to let one thing come in about that, right? One thing to come in about that. What I got was a very simple, a very, very complex situation that I'm in, and it said what I needed to hear right now to help me keep going, which was, everything's going to be okay. So I don't know what that means or how that's going to play out or what the logic parts of that will be. But it gives me the hope and the ability to keep going, because for me, that's an important phrase. I know that things were okay and perfect, even, no matter what happened. I know that things are okay. I believe that with all my heart and mind. And where I get afraid is things going to be okay. So my own meditation gave me what I needed to remember right now about that. Now, you might have gotten an action plan, a first step. You're going to get different things. You're going to get words of affirmation. You're going to get support. You're going to get ideas. You're going to get real, literal solutions to things. And when I gave you we did, a minute and a half of a meditation just there, right? And you got something. And if you did a little longer, you'd get some more. And if you did it every day, you'd keep accruing more about these insights. And then it's about, which we've been talking about, acting on your intuition. Doing that. Not forgetting everything's going to be okay, or I need to call that person, or slow down, or, whatever the advice was of your inner knowing, right? Your soul's knowing is kind of irrelevant if we don't take our own soul's knowing's advice. Right? So otherwise it's almost like two things that are not interconnected, which is, I think, how most people feel. They feel disconnected, right? There is no God. There is no anything. There is just this problem that I'm going to solve, right? And so we're having these two worlds that have nothing to do with each other. And you know how I always do the magnets? And because the magnets, they want to be together, the soul with the self, but we hold them apart. But if we just get them close enough together, which is what meditation does, they go snap, they come together of their own. But we're sitting there going like this, going, there's no meaning in anything, everything's meaningless. I don't understand why anything happens. Why is this happening to me? Because we have this feeling of separation from all that is, and the soul, and the light of all. So all you got to do, right, is create a space like a meditation that allows that to naturally occur and not pull it back apart again. And if you can do that and then act on it, and this is tricky business, act on it. We're afraid to act on it because it's probably, maybe not logical some of the time, right? It's not it's not that it's never logical, it's just not always logical. It might not be what you think. But you can feel that it's true. Do you understand? You feel like, that's it, that's what I need. I'm going to call that person. I know. And you take the step, you do the step, and then you go to the next one and the next one. And as that, you start to flow like that with less and less resistance, right? Because we're trying to get the right answer. We don't want to make a mistake. That will create resistance. I quoted myself on something I said in a meditation once, and it says, holding, we're holding. Holding requires a kind of tension, but not resistance. Holding requires a kind of tension, because what you're doing is you're balancing the soul with the self. Right? You're balancing this very particular alignment between the soul and the self. So it requires attention, and another word for tension is in this would be concentration. To keep the concentration on, in my case, that phrase, everything's going to be okay. Don't forget that, Diana. Right? Because if I start looking at the evidence of what I can see, I'm saying not going to be okay, But I'm knowing that, and that's going to help me stay in the game, stay on the subject, not take it personally when it goes this way or that way, right? And stay in the middle of that and keep walking and keep bringing my note to the situation. So it's a lot of stuff I'm saying that requires just practice, I guess, right? And all of us are practiced pretty much, or we're practicing. And every time you practice, you're creating a stronger muscle. So when people ask me, which they do, to pray for them in a sense, right? Or hold for them is what I call it. But you can call it whatever you want. It's because, why are people asking, is because I know how. And how, so that's irrelevant too. It doesn't matter if I know how, but somebody else knows I know how to. Can you feel that? Because it reflects out, because you can feel when somebody knows this. So I'm often holding for people and situations and for the world. And the full moon's meditations are all about that, right? We're holding for their world service meditations. We're working on ourselves, but we're working on the all. So how you can really be of aid to another, to a family member or to a friend or to a country, right? Or to our government or to anything. It can be as big or small and specific, right? Is you keep holding constant. So let's say there's a disagreement in between two people in a family, and they're acting out, and it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and it has this kind of like expanding, exponential expansion feeling, and you're just sitting there, still, right? And it's going like that. That is very normal, actually. When you're working on a condition, it will act out more. And the problem is when we react to that acting out, and now we're both moving, right? How could you say that? How could you do that to me? Why don't you love me anymore? Or something, right? We get into, now both people are in this, right? You get more and more, again, disconnect. You're just away from each other as much as you can be. But if somebody knows how to hold, that thing will happen. It gets bigger and bigger, but it gets bigger and bigger by itself. You're not adding to it. You're not acting with it. I mean, you're not maybe not doing anything with it, but you're knowing how to hold and know that this person loves me and I love them. And this is happening. And still. And that, what looks out of control, careening energy that is needing attention to itself or something, it needs something, you're attending it. In love, though. And so to me, the closest way of talking about sort of God force is love. Really loving, though, which means, you're accepting someone kind of where they're standing, letting them be, and standing there loving them however they be, right? I love you anyway. I love you, and it's not that I love you emotional. It's just that I love you, this being, namaste. The soul and the God in me recognizes that same God in you. We are the same. And we're reflecting each other. And so these are these concepts that we talk about a lot in meditation and spiritual work. But it's still a process and a practice that no matter how much you do it, there's more to do. I have never gotten to a place where I went, there, I have done it, I have arrived. It is just more and more and more, and it builds more and more capacity. So you can hold more. So in the beginning, you can hold little things, of course, and littler and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And pretty soon, as you go along, you can hold it all, right? The whole darn deal. And not take it personally. And be effective to it by love. So I think this is the place where we'll do our meditation, is right here in this little holy moment. So when you're ready to, if you have a candle, you can light it, or you just light it in your mind. So we're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meditations. We're going to layer them up. Just quickly dropping in, one after another. And so use your breath to relax your body. Relaxation. Relax your shoulders, relax your necks, relax your eyes, relax the secret places that hold tension in your ears, in your eyelids, in your fingertips, wherever those places are, those great big painful places that you know because there's pain there, so we know there's tension there, but also places that are more subtle in the energetic body even, if you can imagine, that the body becomes relaxed by the breath. So every time you exhale, you a little more come into the moment. You a little more let go of the physical tension of the day that's been building up, all month long. This has been a month, for sure. We come out of one thing into another. Relax your back, relax your feet, feel your feet. Feel connected to your body with your breath. As you begin to open now into visualization of that light that's within you, in the third eye, inside the heart of the head center. And just feel, sense, using your senses to sense your inner light, the light of you, the light of your awareness, hooking it up. That thing that is always there, we hook up to it because it is always hooked up to us. And so we link soul with self through the crown chakra. So feel the crown chakra open and become available to light. I'm available to light. Om. I'm available to light. Om. And we're going to use tonight the subject of peace and not peace, right? Because they're interconnected, of course. Peace in the world. Despite what we see and what we know and what we've heard. We're going to use peace in our bodies, peace in our thinking, peace in our reactions, peace in our respondings, peace in our word and how we use our voice. Peace in our thinking. Peace in our meditation now. Peace from the soul to the self, this relationship that is abiding, always there. Peace. Om. Peace. And you're collecting peace inside yourself as an experience by letting yourself feel peace, no matter what the conditions are, no matter what the conditions have been, no matter what you think the conditions are going to be. Peace. And you bring peace in, soul peace, into the self, into you, as the experience of peace right now. I am peace. Om. Peace. Om. Peace. Om. Building the frequency of peace, the experience of peace inside yourself. Getting used to peace inside yourself. How can we have peace in the world without knowing peace in ourselves? So we're building it, we're making it, we're experiencing peace. Peace in this moment. Peace in my body. Peace in my heart. An experience of peace in my heart. Peace in my mind. And as you are there, inside that peace, living and breathing it, peace in, peace out, breathing peace in, breathing peace out. I am peace. I breathe peace in, I breathe peace out. In that stillness, in that stillness, sense that big dove, that messenger carrying dove coming to you, alighting right there, and you feel this peace dove who has a message for you. This bearer, message bearer. What is the message? Is it tied in a note on its foot like homing pigeons did in the war, World War II? They would send birds to send messages back and forth. What is the message? Does it speak it to you? Does it sing it to you? Do you just know? Do you know? Do you know? Will you let yourself know this message for you today on this new moon in Pisces? What is for you to know? That's not a thinking. It is a realization. And then remember it. Don't forget. Write it down later. Act on it. What are you knowing? And then just see that beautiful dove spreading its wings really broadly to show you how big it is. And just let it fill you up. This dove of peace. That you are the right person at the right place at the right time. That knows, that knows, that knows in your life. Feel the truth of it. Anchor it as part of what you are knowing, really knowing. Memorize it into your body being with your breath, breathing, inhaling and exhaling. And still in that state, though, of peace. Breathing peace in, breathing peace out, breathing peace in, breathing peace out. Peace in my body, peace in my heart, peace in my mind. Peace in the world. Om, Om, Om. Good. And when you're ready to, letting your breath get deeper and fuller until it starts to feel natural to transition out of this meditation. Good. Nice. Feeling the difference between thinking horizontally to knowing on the vertical. Very different. That's good. So I'm going to take some time after this for if you want to stay. You're also welcome to leave in the next moment, or you can stay along if you would like to. You don't have to share anything, but you can kind of hold for each other, as some might. I also want to just say that the next meditation class will be March 31st, which is a Thursday. And in 2 weeks from now, because it's 7, 14, 21, 28 of the moon cycle, will be the full moon, and that will be on March 17th, which is also a Thursday. So you can join that if you like. I hope you do. Those are free. It's a gift of service to me, from me, to the world, to everybody, to all of us, to create community and to invite people to practice together. It's very powerful. They're short, but they're very potent, and they really do help because everyone's learning how to hold, right, for the world. So thank you, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Have a really good month, and we need a lot of holding right now for all kinds of things. All kinds of things. So don't think your voice is small or ineffectual. It is so helpful, and it helps people when you're doing it for a friend or for a group or anything. It really, really makes a difference. So share that with your world. It really helps. You can really help someone a lot, and you can really not help very much at all if you're worrying for them, right? It's all about love. You just hold for them in their highest, in their well-being and their solution, and you don't need to figure that out. That's for them to do, right? Just like it's for us to do for ourselves. So much more about all of that. See how you do with it, and I'd love to hear from you if you have any comments, and I'll see you maybe at the next time or at the full moon. Bye for now. Thank you.